Good evening, I'm Oral Gibbs, and welcome to Speaking America. Well, this evening I have a very, very interesting guest. I'm sure you all know this gentleman, Mr. Dovale. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing fine, and how are you?
I'm doing fine.
I'm glad to be here.
It's good to have you here. Thanks for accepting the invitation.
And I'd like to say, for a long time I haven't said hello to your viewers, listeners. So this is my opportunity.
Well, it's nice to have you here. I know last year was a little ill, but you're better now, right?
Yeah. I joked about it. I said, I look at my house doctor. I said, I went to hell and came back. I said, when I was there, I look around and see if any of my friends there. And I saw only enemies. So I ran out of there. Here I am.
It is amazing how you come up with all these jokes. Well, it's good that you're okay.
No, but it wasn't pleasant. You got to keep your cool.
Yeah, but at least you're out and you're doing fine now again, right?
Yeah, I'm doing okay.
That's good. I know you're on social media a lot, man. I mean, you're like the youngest guy in social media.
I don't know. I mean, about time they gave me some kind of recognition, you know what I mean? Yeah, I was on the last thing I was on Facebook is this famous $90,000 thing that I had for people that I had to pay out.
That's a scam, right?
It was a joke. I mean, if you read the whole thing as it took place, and then they show you the certificate that you have to have. So I have the money, yes, but I don't have it, in dollars and cents, in a box or a bag, whatever you want. It's on a certificate. But if you take the certificate on social media, on Facebook, and you blow it up, you find out where the whole thing is a scam.
That's amazing because many years ago they had some Nigerians had that.
No, they still going on.
They're still doing it?
Yeah.
Wow. A lot of people got caught with it right in St. Martin.
Yes, that's true.
So, well, how you feel when you look at social media today, Facebook, Twitter, all those different things, and seeing the kind of person you are, because people may not know that you were a pioneer in broadcasting in St. Martin. You were the one who started the first television station. You know, you worked in radio and all that many years before anyone else started in St. Martin. And you look back today at all we have, the internet and everything. How you feel?
You gotta go with the stream. You gotta go with the. My father used to say, "Let the wind blow." You know, you gotta go with this. You gotta go with the whole thing. But internet is doing a lot of good. Internet is being abused, so it does a lot of bad too. Social media is one of the best things they could have come up with. But again, it is abused. You know.
Yeah.
And you don't know what you get on social media, which is a shame because it's such a good tool, and the tool is being abused.
Do you think we're better off today with it than without it?
No, we can't. We can't anymore. Especially here in St. Martin, where communication is at least now, we can start it. You can talk to somebody in Timbuktu.
Yeah.
For instance, my son is in New Zealand, and I talk to him sometimes. Sometimes I just text to him, and sometimes I talk to him video. You know, I can see him. I can see the children, and the children growing. You know, the oldest boy is in university.
Wow, that fast. Time go fast, huh?
He should have been in university a year before, but he lost time between here and New Zealand.
And I remember many years ago, I did a live show, and spoke from St. Martin to, was it New Zealand or Australia and
Fiji.
Fiji on the
Yeah.
on the internet. So, and Skype was quite interesting.
Yeah.
But you know, the thing is that you know.
I'm going to tell him to talk to you on Skype, just for the fun of it.
It's really a lot of fun. It's nice, and it's amazing because when you look back, you know, you was involved in the early days too with Lance Radio, right?
I started here with Lance Radio.
That you came to from Curacao to St. Martin to set up Lance Radio.
Yeah.
Was it? Yeah. And look at it today. We don't need to go to Lance Radio anymore. You know, we just we have it all over the phone everywhere.
It's evaporated. It's gone.
Yeah, it disappeared.
Yeah.
No, but it's incredible. You know, you was also in charge of the Emergency Operations Center. That's when we had hurricanes coming in. You work along with the government and everything else and coordinating the activities. You think today with social media that helps or that hurts?
Yeah, of course.
It helps?
Yeah, of course. But the biggest problem with emergency management is communication. So now you have a telephone, landline, copper.
Right.
Then you have the internet. You have all the other ones. You got Skype. You can sell, but in spite of all that, the biggest problem in emergency management is communication. It locks up one time because everybody wants to find out. You know, a family of mine in Curacao, I got a little upset with him. He said, you know, when they got bad weather in St. Martin, you're supposed to call us and keep us. I said, say that again? He said, you're talking Chinese, and I don't understand Chinese. You know?
But it used to be like that years ago, right?
Yeah. So I'm going to put everything aside and go, you know, I am here, this and this happening. You're supposed to call me and ask me how I'm going, how things are. But me, I have to call you, tell you that my roof was blowing away and all of that. You know, I got very mad. I got upset.
But don't you think that because of all the different sources of information now, it makes it very difficult to get one message out to the people?
Exactly, because they block it.
Yeah.
It's being blocked by sometimes not us here in St. Martin, not us here in St. Martin, but it's blocked by people from outside. Because they call, they want information, they call, they don't realize you're in the middle of nonsense. You don't know what hour of the day it is,
Yeah.
and you get calls coming in. They should just wait and see until things quiet down to find out, or go on the news.
Now, I'm sure that you're one of those people saying, boy, the next big one will be a real test, because the last big one we had was in September of 1995, a big Hurricane
Yeah.
Lois. Since that time, we haven't had anything comparable to this.
No. They waited for the change from La Nina to El Nino.
You think
And that
you're gonna-
change is so gradual.
Yeah.
But when it happens fast, then they got. You notice good if you see the image on in the newspaper, and sometimes on you can get it on TV. If you see all the muck, we have been living in a safety zone for so long it isn't funny. Everything happens and we're still in the safety zone. You know, and and the thing that bothers me, everything that's happening now is a little bit to the south. And that makes everybody nervous, because if it starts off of the coast of Africa, and it starts to drift away to the north, you feel a little bit better. But the stuff that happens in the south, south of us, it makes me nervous.
No, it's so strange because it seems like we get hit probably every 20, 25, 30 years. So our time is coming up very soon.
Yeah, it's a cycle. That's a cycle theory. Do you remember the flood in Holland?
The most recent.
Some way back they had a flood in Holland, and it happened more or less after 100 years. They had a 100 years flood, then they had a 100 years flood, and the people in Holland said, "Thanks God, we have time to improve, to look, because it's 100 years, and we got 100 years time to improve, to do whatever it is, to make sure that the flood doesn't do so much damage." 2 years later, they were hit with a 100-year flood.
But
What happened in the States too?
Yeah, but America now is getting beat up, man. I mean, all over America, the weather is so strange.
I tell you, I mean, I'm not utterly religious, but I watch EWTN quite a lot, the Eternal World Television Network. And 2 days ago, they were explaining a whole lot of things. And they stay away from saying it's a wrath of God. But you get them comparing things that happened in the past, the floods, Noah and his ark, Sodom and Gomorrah, and they find something equal to that is going on with us, but not in such a big scale.
So it's like in the last days.
I hate to be Gomorrah, and you can't go over the border and go to Sodom. You get caught there too, right?
Yeah, but I've heard people saying that when you look at what's happening in the world today, it's like, it's all in the Bible, and it's nothing weird.
Yeah, well, that's what this program was saying. Even the Weather Channel said something like that.
You had a piece on social media the other day on Facebook where you made some reference to CARICOM and St. Martin that we always really left out. It had something to do with the region and hurricanes. Maybe you want to touch base on that.
Yeah, well, we were reading things that they were doing in the rest of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
In particular, Antigua. Antigua got about 3 organizations looking at emergency management. And we never were part of that. I mean, officially part of that. It's because a guy called Franklin McDonald, Dr. Franklin McDonald, visited the island and went to the Met Office and was talking to the head of the Met Office there. They called me up and say, "Come down and talk. There's this guy here." And the guy turned around. He was in charge of emergency management for the Caribbean. And he asked me and the guy from Matthew, he said, "How come you people are not present at all these meetings?" I said, "Well, we read about it in the newspaper, but other than that, we just go along. That's it."
This was many years ago?
Yeah. So he said, "Well, that's a pity because you suppose you're part of the Caribbean."
Right.
I was about to tell him, only now you find that out. But you don't want to start trouble with everybody.
Yeah.
But it happened to me in television. It happened to me in emergency management and in some other area. But anyhow, I told him, okay, you know what? The rest of the island's supposed to get some kind of message, if it is by phone call or by letter or whichever way, for them to know there is a meeting somewhere in the Caribbean. I said, but we don't know. I said, okay, you know what? Next time you send us The same thing you send to the Caribbean, to the other Caribbean islands, and you put in it for your information, FYI. You say, hey, that's a good idea. That's how we get to attend to their meetings. Now, let me tell you this. There was a meeting in Jamaica. But before that, Sabre would be there, Stacia would be there, and St. Martin would be there. And we sit together, right? And when they start with country reports, they start at the one end of the horseshoe or the other end. So I tell the guys, you know what? I don't like this. Next time we come, one of us sit in the middle, one of us sit at the beginning of the horseshoe, and one of us sit on the other side of the horseshoe. Let's see what the chair is going to do with that. And it was a little bit of shuffling, and they say, hey, there's something wrong with this, And then the one in Jamaica, the following one that was in Jamaica, before the meeting really started, the chairman said, we want the gentleman here from Sabre, Stacia, and St. Martin to realize that they cannot put their name on the nameplate on the table where they're sitting. So I look at the guy from Sabre, I look at Sarton, and I look at Lopes from Stacia, and it looks like we communicated immediately, this is not going to fly, And I got up. And went. They followed, We get there in front of the table. I said, listen, gentlemen, listen carefully. If we came here and we are not to put our name, we're not supposed to be interacting, then please fix our tickets. Well, we had a ticket, but fix our flights because we want to leave today if it's possible. Sarton said the same thing. Lowe said the same thing. The guy waited for a while and said, boy, these three guys going to leave, and there would be a question. Why is the Windward Islands disappearing? No, please, maybe it's a misunderstanding. I said, look, if we cannot put our name, and Sabre cannot put Sabre, and Stacia cannot put Stacia, St. Martin cannot put St. Martin, we are leaving, period. Punto finale. So they said, yes, go there and put your name. And they said, and we want to interact. And that was the problem. The interact was the problem.
So was it because
we are too smart and too forward? We don't go to one of these meetings just for the fun of it. We go there to understand. We go there to talk, to interchange.
But could it be that because these meetings are most of the time sponsored by United Nations, and CARICOM is a group of Caribbean countries where St. Martin is not a member of CARICOM, and Sabre and Stacia at that time, you're speaking about, what,
True.
15, 20 years ago, right?
True. I cannot understand, Arnold, why we have people here so eager to become, and they told us, even after St. Martin became Country St. Martin, they told us that we can be in the CARICOM meetings as observers. Not to use a bad words. You tell me that, I say to you, stick it, and I'm not coming. I don't go to a CARICOM meeting to, who said something, I thought he was joking, but it turned out to be partly true. I said to him, are you going to this tourist meeting? They used to have a tourist meeting or a meeting to discuss tourists in the Caribbean once a year, sometimes twice a year. So one time I asked Claude, I said, you're not going to this meeting? He said, what am I going to do there, Rudy? Serious, I'm not joking on this one. He said, Rudy, what am I going to do there? Tell them how they got to run tourism? I say, I don't have to. If they want, they can come here and we tell them how to do it.
But we were the leaders in tourism. Samar was the leader in tourism.
Yeah.
No, I think the problem with St. Martin now is that we are not part of CARICOM, and I can understand where you're coming from back in those days where CARICOM had those meetings with all the different islands. And as I said earlier, these meetings were paid for by the United Nations most of the time.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. And so
the meetings were paid by the United Nations. So they come, hey, I can't use the word. I can't find the word. A lot of times we used to pay to get there, pay our own way to get there. But you remember a meeting we had here? Every time I would stick my hand in this. I like the chair to take notice that St. Martin is willing anytime to hold one of these PCD, PPP meetings in St. Martin. Yeah, woo.
they never do, right?
You hear a lot of noises, and then they say, no, you are too expensive. St. Martin is too expensive. Then leave us alone. If you think we're too expensive, we're way above you guys. Leave us alone.
I think it's changed now. If they ask them to have a meeting here, they'll come.
Hey, so they asked me. They asked me if I want to do the CDMP meeting in St. Martin with love. When you want to have it? We didn't have too much time to things. Every delegate sat there, slept in our 5-star hotel. They ate in the best restaurants on the island. You know? Yeah. So where do you come from that we're too expensive?
Yeah, I guess.
You know? Where'd that come from? If we're too expensive, leave us alone.
Right. I'm going to go to a break.
I can hear politicians say, hell, man, Rudy is stirring up a lot of nonsense. No, but it's a fact.
I've got to ask you this because a lot of people said during hurricane, and you was involved many years as a person in charge of emergency management, that the shelters, now they're saying shelters should be made public immediately, and people should know where they are and be able to go into them early. But then the other people say if they go in early, they get problems.
Yeah.
And nothing happened. No storm comes, and you can't get them out. Is that?
Oh yeah, I dealt with one of those. And if I had time, I would tell you how I dealt with that. Because everybody called me and said, Rudy, we have people they don't want to move. I said, yeah? Well, they're going to move now because I'm going and I'm going to get it going. And I got them out.
So it's a problem when you have a shelter and there's no storm, but they go into the shelter and you can't get them out.
Hey, sweet home, second home.
So you think it's a good idea to not open shelters too early still today? Because we're speaking about when you was in charge, some 20, 25 years ago. Now today things have changed. You think it should still stay that way?
Shelter management is one of the most difficult components of emergency management. There's a lot of things that happen in shelters that you got to be careful with, and so to open the shelters too soon. Mm-hmm. I had that problem. I will openly tell you that I had that problem with the police. But at that time, the police were federal. The police was a federal agent.
We were part of Nelson Dillis at the time.
Say that again?
Because at that time we were part of the Nelson Dillis.
Exactly. Exactly. So they called me up and they say, people are calling here. I said, here's the number they should call. They call you because they feel that's the only place they can call it, which is not true. We're going to open I said, amigo, do whatever you want. Open it. But manage it, and I close the phone.
So it's very difficult to.
Yeah, it's very difficult to get them in. find out how you got to take the name, you got to where they live.
And then get them out is a problem.
Yeah, you got to do all of that. You know, you want to find out if they got children. You cannot mix children with adults, and so it's something that got to be. Shelter management is not easy, and at that time the police did not know anything about shelter management.
Well, I hope they know more today. But
no, I think they learned a lesson. I hope they do.
Very quick, I only have about 30 seconds remaining. I know it's kind of quick, but you expect us to get hit this year?
Like the Dutch say, met de schrik vrij.
So at least we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Well,
zie de maan schijnt door de bomen.
That's what happened. Let's hope that everything works out like last year.
Yeah, well, we've been in this zone for a while, and there's not much telling us that the zone will fill up with muck, and we get part of it. The rain we had wasn't so bad, you know, but we're still in the comfort zone.
All right. Mr. Dovale, thanks for coming in. Good speaking with you after, 2 years? Looking great, man.
Let me tell you something. We left out a lot of things. So if you don't call me back pretty soon, I will call you.
Hey, have you back for your birthday, man.
Thank you.
All right, thanks. Take care. All right, that's it for now. See you next time right here on Speaking of Everything. Till then, good night. Take care. Bye.